Another week has passed us by, and another
mate.
week of stuff to talk about, buddy. Here we go, eh?
Mate, it's all happening this week. A bit of stuff to talk about, Jace, which is good.
Look, come on, mate. Be honest with me a little bit. I know the other day you were like, "Oh, what's out? What's the story?" But when you actually dig into it, I know you've been busy this week and you've been busy with work. But actually go through it. Quite a lot has happened in the world of primarily film and TV, but we're going to get straight into it, Rick.
What do you got, Jace? What have we got?
And the first story, we're going to talk about something I'm really excited about, and I know you're pumped about, and that is Batman. The Batman comes out very shortly. We're talking March 4th, so here in Australia. So what's that? 5 weeks away, and we got the Batman. But as you can see from the title here, Rick, it has been confirmed that it is going to be 3 hours long.
Nice.
That makes it the longest Batman film ever. Like, even longer than those Christopher Nolan films.
Well,
pretty crazy, isn't it?
They were what? Obviously under 3 hours, but no, okay. Oh, 2.5.
They were long films. Like, at that point in time, superhero films generally weren't that long in length, you know? So, what does this mean to you, Rick? I mean,
there's a lot to say in this.
Exactly.
He's got a lot. Matt Reeves has got a lot to say. So
a lot of story to cover.
Hopefully he hasn't cut a lot, but he's put everything in a 3-hour movie, which is fantastic. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah. And talking about Matt Reeves, he also, this kind of piggybacks off this story, is that he's come out and said that basically he considers the Batman almost a horror film. Which is a good indicator of the tone of what Batman will be. It's obviously going to be a very serious kind of dark edge. And he pumped a few quotes to us, Rick. So
what's he said?
Okay, because the idea of a place that is corrupt and you try to swim against the tide in order to fight it against and make a difference is quintessential Batman. And that's the center of all these noir stories. It's almost a detective, right? And there's the other clue, is that the Batman very much is a detective story. Something that we haven't really seen in a Batman film is his detective work. We get snippets of it, but never usually a film kind of dedicated to that. Yeah, dedicated to that. It goes on and it goes, the Batman is an edgy, action-packed thriller that depicts Batman in his early years struggling to balance rage with righteousness.
Nice.
As he investigates a disturbing mystery that has terrorized Gotham. So, and obviously it goes on. Certainly, guys, we get most of our stories from JoeBlow.com. I'm a big fan of these guys. So, feel free to dig into the article and go into it. But, Rick, there's a couple of tiny little Batman stories. Pretty exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. Look, this is going to be one of the biggest movies to come out, obviously, this year. And everyone is super excited to see this.
Yeah.
And, just cannot wait. And hopefully, I mean, it's going to deliver. We know it's going to deliver.
Yeah.
So, bring it on.
100%. I'm very confident this film will bring something. Still, it's the same. What is this? How many, Batman seems to reinvent itself all the time. It only feels like yesterday we got introduced to Ben Affleck. And to know we got another one. But it's just a character that seems to, you can do so much with it. You can keep adapting it all the time. So, pretty great stuff, hey? All right, we're going to move across to the next thing. And this way, we're going to go talk about streaming, Rick, all right? I know you're not super excited about this, but it's definitely noteworthy talking about. And that's the fact that Apple and Legendary are teaming together to develop a Godzilla TV series, which is... Yep, go ahead, Rick. Go, buddy.
Do we need a TV series on these movies? Like, the movies weren't, I mean, there was a couple that I didn't mind, but they weren't fantastic. Does it really warrant us to seeing on the small screen?
I mean, I agree with you. A very throwaway movies. I don't know if it's based on the movies or it's just a redevelopment of the idea. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was interesting, Rick, from the point of view that Apple TV, not really known yet as tackling franchise, big blockbuster content. Some amazing contact on Apple TV. Ted Lasso and The Tragedy of Macbeth are two standouts there at the moment.
Ted Lasso's great.
But, I think it's interesting they're getting into that. And it's backed by Legendary, who are responsible for obviously releasing them in the cinema as a big studio company. So, yeah, I just thought it was kind of big that they're going to develop their own MonsterVerse as such.
I mean, I get it. If they're trying to draw people in to subscribe to Apple, because Apple's probably not very dominant in the streaming at the moment.
No.
And they obviously need something.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yep.
It might work.
I mean, but there are a lot of Godzilla fans out there, dude, that would watch absolutely anything related to Godzilla. So, you know what? I think it's got its fan base. It's just what they do with it. Yeah. So, but there you go. Now, I think it's time from that to move on to kind of, let's face it, tend to be our favorite franchise at the moment. That's the MCU. And there's always news coming out every week. Obviously, we did a Moon Knight trailer the other day. The trailer for that was fantastic.
Get on that, people. That was cool.
It looks really good, which comes out sooner than later too, which I was really surprised at. March 30, that's released. But we're not here to talk about that. What we are going to talk about is our old friend he was one of the OG people in the MCU, is our friend Tim Roth. It's just a little story, Rick Finn, coming out saying that he had a blast returning as Abomination for the Disney Plus series, which I think is so cool that he was in that one movie, dude, Incredible Hulk, and that was it.
Yeah,
we didn't see
that was it.
For over a decade.
2008, we hadn't seen him from then.
And the fact we got to see a little bit of him in Shang-Chi, which was
awesome.
Cool.
And
the fact he was working with Wong, spoilers, of course, but he was working with Wong in that one, which was interesting. So, and before I go to the story, kind of made me think now, if he's working with Wong, it's kind of like they've rehabilitated him a little bit, haven't they?
Yeah. They could be rehabilitated. Who knows? Or they've got something on him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But he was speaking with Uprocks. Of course, this is from our friends Joe Blow. A lot of our stories come from. Very cool. They do their shit well.
They do.
And he goes, well, honestly, it totally surprised me. I went in to chat with Kevin Feige, and he said, look, I've got an idea. Come in. And he goes, really? Really? Because the original thing that I did when I did that first Incredible Hulk movie was I did it for my kids. And he goes, I was amazed when they came back around and said, how would you feel about? And he went, yeah, all right, and he goes, we just shot it, I guess, in the summer last year, whatever. And I think they're in post now doing it. So whenever. Bonus, I got to work with Mark Ruffalo. Absolutely awesome. Who I love. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say, or I can say, but this extraordinary, I'll get it right, Rick. Extraordinary woman, Tatiana, incredible, that woman. So that was a blast. It was insane. So good positive vibes coming out of She-Hulk. She-Hulk is one of those series, Rick, where I think because it's going to be a pretty well much a comedy, I'm really interested to see the tone of it. You know?
They said it would be half an hour comedy.
Like
type of thing. Kevin was saying. I don't know if it's going to reflect. Is it going to reflect back and pay a little bit of homage to the original series? 1977. I mean, it's a little bit of footage of it. Of the Incredible Hulk.
I'm sure,
kind
of, but they have courtroom scenes, and obviously they did in the original series. The other thing is the fact Daredevil's in the show. Charlie Cox is in it because she has to. In a courtroom, you don't just have one lawyer; you have two.
No, correct.
Yeah, so that he's going to. Matt Murdock as a lawyer will absolutely appear in that series. But I'm really excited. Late 2022. This comes out late this year. So we've got a little
late 2022. Wow.
Late 2022. Cool. So there we go. And I might as well just move on straight here to the next bit of Marvel news, and that is Secret Invasion. Now, we don't know much about this. We know, obviously, anyone who's into the comics knows about Secret Invasion from the comic books. And obviously, Marvel Studios is known to take the core elements and then develop their own thing. So, but I'm really excited to see it anyway, to get to Samuel Jackson back. And as we know, and I don't have the picture here, but he looks a little bit different in this series. He's got a long grey beard. He's missing his eye patch. So all this story is, Rick, is that they've got some footage of set.
Okay.
And
Just
it's basic.
offset.
Yeah, just on the set, as you can see,
Yeah.
they're kind of getting ready. And what it is, I think the only thing I really want to talk about is the fact they had very Russian centric, which says to me,
Okay.
Secret Invasion, I think, will be a very European based espionage type
Espionage.
show,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
think will be really, really cool. So, I'm really excited for this. I don't know if that's this year or early next
I
year.
don't think there's anything on it at the moment. It doesn't say when.
No, we don't really,
No.
I mean,
Might be next year, I'd say.
yeah, I mean, look,
I reckon.
like I didn't think we'd get Moon Knight to the end of the year, and then they pumped that out for March 30, which was a bit of a shock, maybe because that was finished early. But Secret Invasion, as we start to get more information on that, I think it's going to be something really cool. This show, Amelia Clark's in it as well, I believe, isn't it? And so is Ben Mendelsohn returning his role as
Australian.
one of the Skrulls.
Yes.
So yes, so very, very cool.
No,
All
I'm
right.
looking forward to
Okay,
what else we got, Jace?
Well, Star Wars, as you know, Rick, is probably one of my favorite fandoms. Well, the
Is
favorite.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that. I got a tat and all
the
that.
fans, they do, mate. You are the biggest fan I know, Jace.
Yeah. Okay, so there is one other franchise that I would say it's almost equal in my love, if not a little bit more. Oh dear. I would say is like Star Wars is always number one because I've loved it as a child.
Of course.
Being 4 years old, seeing the original Star Wars film. Yes, I'm that old. And being able to experience them all through with my son and love Star Wars. But mate, as an adult, I fucking loved Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
The original trilogy by Peter Jackson, absolutely phenomenal. I love everything about it. I've seen those movies 20, 30 times. And not just the normal standard version.
No, the extended
editions. And, as you know, Rick, I went recently, I had nearly 400 Blu-rays, 4K movies.
Yeah,
and I got rid of them all. I just said, I've gone in the thing where I'm not collecting anymore. But one thing I did keep was that box set.
Was that box
Lord
set?
of the Rings box set. A couple of other box sets, but primarily that box set. So all I know is that they've been talking a little bit about how they've got a series coming out. Amazon has a series coming out, the most expensive television series ever made.
Of course it is.
First season cost $454 million to produce.
Oh my God.
5 seasons on the show, and we finally got a title for it, and it is called Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So, which is a great title. And so we're getting a sense now, we're getting to know when the release date's going to be, what the plot is, and a bit of the details. So now, obviously, this is not made by Peter Jackson. This is made by a different team. However, Rick, they've used a lot of the same people from the original Lord of the Rings films.
Yeah.
So, like Weta's doing all the special. They shot it down in New Zealand. Even the composer Howard Shore, who did those beautiful themes from the first one, he's back. So it's really, really great. So, and the Rings of Power. And the reason it's called Rings of Power is because what is the story about? And the Rings of Power really much talks about the events of the Second Age. So, Rick, let me explain this. The time frame where Lord of the Rings was set is called the Third Age. But there was all this stuff that happened before thousands of years ago in the Second Age. So this story talks about forging the rings. If you remember the beginning of Lord of the Rings, 9 for all that kind of thing, 9 for the elves, for men, and all that. So it's all about the forging of the rings and the rise of the big bad guy Sauron. So
that makes sense.
So so there's a lot to talk about. So I mean, here's a synopsis, and I'm just going to go through the synopsis if you don't mind, Rick.
Go for it.
Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power brings to the screens for the very first time the heroic legends of the fabled Second Age of Middle-earth history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin. Unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and one of the greatest villains that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Wow, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared emergence of evil to Middle-earth. From the darkest depths of the misty mountains to majestic forests of the elf capital of Linden to the breathtaking island of Numenor. That's, if you're a fan of Lord of the Rings, you'll be so excited to think they're going to Numenor. To the farther reaches of the map. These kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that will they'll live on long after they have gone. That is a mouthful, but it's really exciting, Rick, because basically they're going all in on this show. They're not treading. So that's what's important. They're not treading or redoing Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings.
No.
They're not doing that. They're not mucking around with it. They're just saying, J.R.R. Tolkien wrote all this stuff about the Second Age, and there's a real opportunity to tell that story. So for me, I'm absolutely thrilled. Like I said, it's the most expensive show ever made. Amazon has gone all in on this. You spent $500 million.
Oh, come on. What does that say?
Of a they have got faith in it. And they've already said it's, the second series is moving to London, but they said it's going to be 5 seasons. But here's the other thing, Rick. 22 episodes a season.
What?
Yep.
Jesus. How long did they say how long they were going to go for?
I imagine
there's a lot
40
there.
minutes. So
insane.
Basically, we get to see this September 2nd of this year. So is the release date for that. So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan like me, you are delighted.
22 episodes a season. That is
apparently
huge.
so. Apparently, which is very unusual in this day and age. That's the only kind of visual screenshot we've gotten of it so far. So,
well, it makes sense. If there's a lot to tell in the story, they're going to have to make,
100%.
I was spread it up. That's awesome.
So I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I cannot wait to start seeing this. This is God, we live in a magical time, Rick, where there's just so much amazing content. I mean, guys, just off the side topic. If you're not watching Peacemaker, what the hell are you doing? You got to get on Peacemaker, which is, Rick, how you have those shows that you can let them go for a little while, but those shows you just have to watch every week.
Time.
Like, every time they release a new episode. And definitely Peacemaker is just, like, I love those first 3 episodes, but that 4th episode, mate, just sold. One of the greatest shows.
I mean, you got to say, John Cena is just amazing.
He's on fire. He's made to be the Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah. No one else can play it. And the way he delivers everything, and he's just so good.
Just amazing. Just amazing. Yeah. All right. Now, I'm going to go back to England now. One of my favorite, animation. Used to have those glory days where Pixar would come out with a film, and I used to keep up with them. I don't really keep up with them much more. But there was another studio that I absolutely loved that did, claymation. And that is, of course, stop animation. And that is, of course, those Aardvark Studios, Aardvark Animation, Aardman's Animation, sorry, Aardvark, I said, Aardman Animation. Well, remember the movie Chicken Run?
We do,
Mel Gibson. Yeah. It's kind of like a remake of
2000.
The Great Escape. Yeah, absolutely wonderful.
2000.
Well, they're doing a sequel. They've come out and Dan Ewan and Zachary Levi are doing a sequel to Chicken Run that will arrive on Netflix. They had a real tragedy a few years ago. Do you remember their entire studio burnt down? So all their Wallace and Gromit stuff and everything like that, they lost it all. It all. The entire studio. And they've had to rebuild from scratch. So I love what they do. I love their sense of humor. I think this is absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to see it. Because the type of humor they do in these shows, to me, is very different than the humor you would get in a Pixar. Yeah.
Because you can get away. That's right. You do it.
Oh,
Rocky the Rooster.
Sorry.
Rocky the Rooster. He's back.
No, it's going to be called...
It's
going to be called Chicken Run. No, Mel Gibson, I don't think, is in it at this point. So, because I think Zachary Levi is going to be taking over and playing the role of Rocky.
Okay.
But the title for it, which I kind of love, is called Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. Which I thought was
Dawn of the Nugget.
So yeah, bring it on, eh? Bring it on. So no, I can't wait. Can't wait. I think it'll be a fun kind of thing. I really like their sense of humor. Bring it on. That's all
I
I
think
gotta
they can
say
get away
about
with it for being so long. You know what I mean? 2000 was when the movie came out.
Yeah, man. It's
Decades
20
later.
22 years ago.
So, yeah, mate. And
Yeah.
and they can get away with it because it's stop motion. So
Yeah,
bring it
yeah.
on.
Yeah, it
Sure.
doesn't matter. It can be set the day after,
Yeah,
can't it?
that's right.
It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. All right. Now, let's move. We're going to stay in the world of Netflix. One of the biggest things in Netflix this year, what would you say, Rick? And I think you'll get this, was the biggest thing Netflix released in 2021. It was the biggest show they released.
The big show was Squid Rings.
Squid Rings.
Squid Game, sorry. Squid Rings. I've got work on my head. Squid Games.
Yeah, 100% Rick, Squid Game. And Netflix has officially announced Squid Game Season 2. So Tez Sarandis, the CEO and Chief Content Officer, confirms there will be a second season.
So this kind of came out of nowhere. I don't know if, I didn't hear much about it, right? And then all of a sudden, people were just talking about it. Things popped up on social media. So you're just like, all right.
Oh, it became a pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah, it was.
Can I tell you a dirty secret, though, Rick? I actually
what's the
haven't
dirty
seen
secret? Get
it.
out. Are you serious? Dude. Okay.
I'm going to get on it. Just
if you can get past, because a lot of people couldn't get past because it's in subtitles and it's dubbed.
Oh,
so
yeah, okay.
If you get past that,
for me.
It will go, mate. So,
that's never been an issue for me. I watch a lot of foreign stuff. I just hadn't gotten to it. I mean, it's a great kind of high concept idea, but people became obsessed with it, dude. That's what surprised me. So I'm going to get on it. But all you Squid Game fans out there, guess what? You're getting a second season. And apparently, he said, absolutely, the Squid Game universe has just begun. Ooh, just begun. Yeah. So Squid Game fans get excited because you're going to get a lot more of it by the looks of it. So, and Rick, we're leading into our final story for the day, for the week. And this only just come out in the last few hours. So we're kind of on top of this one. Tom Cruise. Everyone's favorite crazy Scientologist, right?
Tommy, jumping on couches.
He makes great films, right? He really does. A lot of his films are excellent. He's had a couple of duds, but generally they're really, really good. And one is Mission Impossible franchise. I absolutely love it. I think ever since Mission Impossible 3 upwards, probably more Ghost Protocol upwards, phenomenal movies.
Yep.
But there's a bit of a problem, Rick, and that is that we've been waiting for a sequel for a long ass time. And then I read this morning that Mission Impossible 7 and 8 delayed again.
Are you serious?
So, and I thought about this, and I'm like, he finished Mission Impossible 7 and 8 a couple of years ago. No, it's been delayed because of COVID, but it's been in the can for a while. So why are they delaying it? And I reckon it's because they're bringing out. It's being made by Paramount Pictures, right? Who also generally that's who Tom Cruise makes all his movies through. Generally, and they've already got a Tom Cruise tentpole movie coming out this year called Top Gun Maverick, which has already been delayed. That was supposed to come out in 2020. So I figure, they're not going to do, they don't want to have too many Tom Cruise tentpoles in the same year. So basically, July 14,
spread them out.
Yeah. So basically, July 14, 2023 is Mission Impossible 7. But a year later is June 28, 2024. So definitely a long period. I mean, dude, do you like the Mission Impossible series?
I do. I enjoy them, and the good thing is, that Tom does his own stunts in some of them, and the act, like he said, the second one upwards is great. You know what I mean? And they just get better and better, and they're enjoyable films, and they're different characters moving into it and all that. But he's getting on, so it kind of makes you wonder how long can he sustain being Ethan Hawke, and then stop doing his own stunts. Ethan Hunt, sorry. Yeah.
Kind of looks like Ethan Hawke, dude, but he's not. It is a good question. I think, honestly, he's either finishing it up in 8 or he'll go to 10. knowing Tom Cruise, well, not knowing him,
How
but if I was a betting man, I reckon he'll go to 10.
What is he, late 50s?
Getting there, but he looks fucking 35, dude.
Yeah.
Like the guy can just keep going, like at this point until you can't anymore. And as you kind of said before, Rick, I mean, the biggest thing about these films is the fact that he does the stunts he does in those films. Like they're just no other actor would ever do anything like that.
No one will touch it. No.
Absolutely not. So, but there you go, Rick. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Mission Impossible. It's a franchise I enjoy. So there you go, Rick. That's all the stories of the week. We've kind of pumped through what's been going on. So if you haven't noticed, at the bottom of the screen here, we've had a little ticker tape that we've kind of added. And there's a big reason we've kind of added it there, not just because of our socials, but why, Rick? Let them know why we're putting that.
Coming up. So we actually dropped our merch store last week. Was it last week, dude? Yeah, it was last week. So we've been working pretty hard getting that, re-renting everything. So we've got our own store, so popculturespreadstore.com. Go check that out. We're going to be doing some, I think Jason is working on some new designs. Is that right, Jace?
Yeah, I'm kind of working on some bits and pieces. Absolutely.
Which is good. Change up little things. And then, we're just, bring it up if you want, Jace.
Yeah, there you go. So there's lots of stuff here to be looking at.
We have everything for everyone to cover it. So
I
think the new one should be in there somewhere.
Yeah,
there it is. There's the new one there.
Yeah,
there's the new one.
There you go. It's a Lethal Weapon logo. Too old for this shit. So there you go, mate. We've got some. That's kind of like Pulp Fiction inspired stuff. But there's so much slew of.
There's so much to cover. You know, if you've got something for the kids, something for yourself, get on it, guys. And it's good quality stuff. So it's not, cheap stuff that you guys want. It's quality stuff that's going to last you guys a long time. And that's the key thing. So, and we're going to be doing some specials and stuff as well. So stay tuned for that, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Definitely. Now, obviously, just as it says on the bottom here, Rick, what do they need to do? What do they need to do to have a chat to us and let us know about the show? Do you like what we're doing here? Do you not like it? What did you think of some of the stories? How do they, obviously, just remind them again how they do it?
Guys, all you need to do is drop us a comment down below for the video. Also, give us a thumbs up. We'd really, really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell and just follow us all on our social media sites. It's easy and simple as that, guys.
Fantastic, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with another episode of Pop Culture Spread. See ya.